Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3. If you've seen the previous 2 episodes, I had mentioned that I hadn't really come up with a name for this yet, but I'm leaning towards the unshakable founder. And that's just because over the last week or so, I've been making refinements to my program and making refinements to who my ideal client is. And the name that came up for that program is the Unshakable Founder System. So, if this is your first time tuning in, hi, my name's Josh, and this is an account of my journey to hitting my first milestone of 10K months as a mindset coach. Now, this is just my honest thoughts, my kind of vulnerable moments that I've had over the past week, learnings, lessons, things I've been struggling with, just my honest account of what I'm going through trying to build a business. And this is coming from someone from a completely different industry. I worked architecture for many years, and I had zero marketing experience, zero sales experience, and it's definitely showing in how slow my business is growing. And it is growing really slow. But that's okay, because I have an unwavering commitment to seeing this through and getting this off the ground to a point where it grows beyond what I even imagine it to be. Because the impact I'm looking to have and the people I'm looking to empower is very much needed in this world. And you guys will hopefully see that as I continue to do these YouTube videos. And I'll probably post like clips on other platforms too. But so this week I have about 4 or 5 topics I want to cover, and everything's like written down, or I take notes in my phone as well. And I don't know about you guys, but when I drive, I get a ton of ideas popping into my head, especially when I'm listening to a podcast that is related to business. Like lately, I've been on a Diary of a CEO kick with Steve Bartlett. And I mean, he has a ton of things to go through. And even going back to like his very earliest episodes where he was doing this as well, where he was just being honest and vulnerable about his experiences. But he was coming from a place where he had already succeeded in growing a business to like hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion business. And he had hundreds of employees, like he was kind of established, but he was dealing with a lot. Like mentally, he was dealing with a ton of stuff, and just hearing his honest, vulnerable thoughts, it just hooked me. And so I'm hoping that you guys hearing my journey, not having found the success that I'm looking for yet, but just seeing like what it takes to kind of like get a business off the ground and then growing and then scaling it, so that you guys understand what it takes. And this is someone, again, from zero marketing, zero sales experience. I had a very small financial safety net that I'm running out of now, and looking to hear back to get a side job because I need that extra money coming in. I've got a family to support. And even though I've had the tough conversations with my wife about going all in on this, it's taken me a little bit longer than I've expected to push through some mindset blocks that I'll talk about today. So let me talk about I guess the first topic. Let me open up my notebook here and see what we got for what I've kind of written over the past week. So the first thing that I write in here is that AI is making the internet more inauthentic. And I think a lot of you who are watching this probably see this because either you're in the entrepreneurial space or looking to start a business or just curious about what it takes to start a business. But AI has its imprint on nearly everything we see today. And the value of things like this, where it's not scripted, it's just my own personal thoughts, and it's just more raw, it's not filtered through AI at all, where nearly everything you find online is now. I guess it's for me, it's a little bit hard to find what's actually like authentically someone and not something that's been filtered through AI. And that just to me means that if you're someone who's starting out and you see all of these people saying like, hey, you need to be utilizing AI, otherwise you're kind of falling behind. I think there's going to be a premium on organic content that just comes from a human, not from running it through ChatGPT. I personally use Claude, but I am starting to get better about brainstorming my ideas there and then rewriting it in my own words as though I was saying it myself, because I very much agree with the content that I'm putting out, but a lot of it in the past has been very much filtered through AI without much editing, and so I'm going to change that. That's the first thing. What else did I write here? I'm just looking to see here what to share. This is going to be a much shorter video compared to the last two. I'm trying to get these down to like 15 to 20 minutes, if not a little bit shorter for you guys, because I know it's hard to consume that much amount of content, especially like in one sitting. But hopefully as I grow and share lessons here that really resonate with you guys and that are extremely valuable for you guys, and as I grow, then you guys will just see like what it what it is I'm going through, and you'll be like, damn, I'm kind of going through similar things. Okay, so this was an interesting one. This is something that I had felt probably a couple weeks back, but I remembered it again this week. And it was when I first graduated from college. It was a few years after the great financial crisis. And that was back in 2008, 2009. And I don't know if you guys remember that, but the job market was extremely hard to get into after graduating college, even a few years afterwards. And one of the things I remember experiencing and seeing memes about was every entry-level job said you needed to have 3 to 5 years of experience. And I'm like, how is it an entry-level job when you need that amount of experience? And that's honestly what being an entrepreneur has felt like, what being a founder has felt like. It has felt like, even though this business is very much in its early stages, I feel like I need like 5 to 10 years of experience in order to get myself off the ground. I just don't have that. And part of it too, I will admit, they are mindset blocks that I have. And me being a mindset coach, I am working through them, and I think I'm making progress. But let me transition into what those blocks are. So I talked about this last week, but I have not been promoting myself or putting offers out there or even offering sales calls on like doing my own outreach. And I'm doing outreach, but not at the level that I'd like. So that I'm going to change that first and foremost. I'm going to change the amount of outreach that I'm doing, but really to just like build connections with people and genuinely see what it is that they're struggling with. Not necessarily to offer a sales call, because I'm interested more in seeing if I can help the person. And in order to do that, I need to get to know them first. And so there's no point, like I see this all the time from people pitching me, where like the very first thing people send me is like, hey, would you be interested in this offer or service that I'm providing? And right off the bat, like, it's just, I'm not interested in, like, I appreciate the hustle, but I'm not interested if they're not willing to get to know me. And all they want to do is test out their, whatever it is that they're offering for their own benefit. At least that's what it feels like. And so I don't want to come off that way, Like, I want to like genuinely understand what my ideal client's struggling with. And if it's something I can help them with, then I'm like, hey, would you be willing to get on a quick call and talking about this further? That's how I do it. But I haven't been offering the calls. And so I've been kind of holding myself back in that way. And I've talked to my business coaches about this, and the conclusion that we've come to is like, I honestly, like, I don't really care about the rejection. I don't care if people say no. And so, like, I've just been trying to think to myself, like, why am I not promoting? And what I've come back to, or kind of fallen back to, is looking at my niche, I guess, and what my primary outcome is for my offer. And so I've had to explore that, because I'm calling myself a mindset coach, right? And I'm calling myself a mindset coach. At first, it was for aspiring entrepreneurs and for people who struggled with taking that first step because they themselves are holding themselves back. And I thought to myself, if they're struggling to start their business, why would they think they need, like, why wouldn't they struggle to hire a mindset coach to spend like a good amount of money? Like, they wouldn't understand the importance yet of a mindset coach. Does that make sense? Like, and so I kind of had to rethink who my ideal client is. Someone who would kind of understand or appreciate the benefits of having a mindset coach. And so one of the things I did, and I just did this today, and I can't believe I didn't think about doing this sooner, but I went onto Reddit and I posted in several forums asking people, hey, for those of you who are experienced entrepreneurs, experienced founders, experienced owners, what were the mental blocks that came up when you were in your first few years of business? What were the things that held you back? How much do you think it costed you? And do you think a mindset coach would have been worth the return on investment? Meaning, like, what you pay for the mindset coach, would you get back more in breaking through those mental blocks? And I'm already starting to get responses of people saying like it literally costed me millions. And like, to hear that is like, it's mind blowing, right? Like, why was I missing this kind of research? And I go back to the classes or the course material that my business coaches have, and they have the steps in there to do this. And I'm just like, I need to go back to and go through the coursework, which I am doing, that that my business coaches are offering me, and I need to go through those and follow through on taking action on each one of those things, because the most successful people in the program that I'm in are the ones that followed what they're preaching step by step. And I'm like, all right, I just gotta sit my ass down and do the damn work. That's it. There's no other mindset blocks other than, like, you need to clarify who it is I'm working with and then do the damn work. And a lot of the times, like, one of my business coaches told me, like, you may not even know, like, that who you're classifying as your ideal client is actually your ideal client until you actually work with them. So just get something out there, just promote some offer and start getting experience, putting in the reps. And I agree with him, like, I need to start putting in the reps. And so that's what my target is for the month of June, is to bring in at least 5 new clients so that I can test out my system and kind of start to discover more of who my ideal person is. Because right now, honestly, it feels like first-time founders who have already started their business but are in their first year and they're experiencing these blocks. And so that's what I'm going to be targeting. That's what my marketing is going to start reflecting. And I'm kind of like starting to shift everything to so that it attracts those type of people. And I know that like in time, my messaging and my reach to the specific people that I can help, like it'll get there. It'll get there as long as I keep going. And I have no intention of stopping this. Like I've mentioned this before, like I have a relentless belief that this is needed. We need more entrepreneurs in the world making a difference, and we need people to understand, like one of the things I discovered this week is, or not discovered, but like kind of rediscovered, I guess you could say, is that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Like that's just, I do not believe that just anyone can be an entrepreneur. Like you have to want to be an entrepreneur. You have to want the suck. You have to want the challenge. You have to have the relentless belief that what the problem you're trying to solve is worth putting in the effort, even if the guarantee of a payoff isn't there. And I think that's why I'm leaning towards calling this the unshakable founder, because I believe that. I believe that helping the first time founders through these mindset blocks, through helping them in their uncovering and working through their limiting beliefs, their imposter syndrome, like a lot of this I feel contributes to the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs don't succeed past like the first 3 years or 5 years, because they get in their own way and then they give up without understanding the foundation that they need to give them that drive, that internal intrinsic drive to keep going, to push, so that they're solving problems for people, a problem that matters to them. That was kind of kind of a long-winded from how did I get there? Oh, how becoming a coach feels like I need 5 to 10 years of experience. Yeah, that's where it started. We're 17 minutes in already. Okay. I'm just gonna talk about, I already talked about launching an offer in June, so you guys will see the updates on that week to week. This coming Sunday is June 1st, so I'll be launching the offer on Monday, June 2nd, and just pushing it until I get 5 people in. These are going to be my founding clients, and yeah, I'm just excited to see the progress, because I have a way to track their progress throughout the program, and I think it's going to be extremely beneficial, not just for me, but for the people that I'm helping, and just dedicating myself to guaranteeing not guaranteeing, but like ensuring that they get the results that they're looking for. So that's exciting. The last thing I have here is kind of a very vulnerable thing, and I wanted to save this for the end because I might cry. I'm already getting teary-eyed. This is something that was kind of spurred or like brought up because I was listening to a podcast episode of this director, and the director was talking about how he didn't have a father figure growing up, and he would watch The Fresh Prince. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm sure a lot of you guys are, especially if you're older. But there's an episode that just, it hits me at my core because of what I experienced growing up. My dad being an alcoholic, not being around, but there's an episode where Will's dad comes back and he's all excited, like he's back, and the dad's promising that he's changed. And he's like, hey, I got to go on a work trip. Do you want to come with me? And, Will packs his bags. He's all excited. And when he comes to meet his dad at his Uncle Phil's place, the dad's already gone. And Will gives this speech. He gives a speech of like the hell with him. Like I went through like, so many birthdays without him. I got my first girlfriend without him. I learned how to play basketball without him. The hell with him. Like, and then he goes up to Uncle Phil and he says like, why doesn't he love me, man? And that just made me reflect on, oh man, that that just made me reflect on, am I doing enough as a father? Am I doing enough as a husband? Am I doing enough as a coach? And I know the answer within me is no. And I think that's what hurts. I mean, I'm doing better. I'm definitely doing better than my own dad, right? Like just based on like the experiences that I had and what I saw from him, like it was easy for me to determine I'm not going to be that way. So I don't abuse alcohol. I have no plans of neglecting my son, but it just made me reflect on like this whole business venture, this coaching thing that I'm doing, and not promoting myself, like not doing the things that will move the needle forward, made me think like I need to do more to, like, if I'm serious about this, like what am I waiting for? Like the clarity of my niche, like just get out there, put yourself out there more. And this is what I'm telling myself, put yourself out there more, promote yourself, throw offers out there and do it, increase the volume. Like that's all really I need to do. And I'm going to commit myself to doing that more, because I don't want to have this feeling of I'm not doing enough to make a difference in my family's lives. And I just remembered last week I mentioned about talking about personal reasons and professional reasons for what I do. And this is a very much a personal reason why I'm doing this, is because I want to provide for my family. I want to give my family an opportunity to share in a lot more experiences together without having to have that fear of money in the background, like not having enough. Because my mom growing up lived paycheck to paycheck, and I saw the stress and the anxiety that brought. And I don't want that. I don't want that for our family. But that's how it's been the past. My wife and I have been together for 8 years now, as boyfriend and girlfriend for the first 5 years. And now we're coming up on for the first 5 years, and now we're coming up on our third anniversary. No, on our fourth anniversary. Sorry, our fourth anniversary. But yeah, I mean, like, I like a very selfish personal reason why I'm doing this is because I want that financial security for me and my family. And I know that a lot of people, they don't really promote that, right? Like, because I guess you could say that that's the selfish reason why anyone does a business, almost. Like, they want the money. They want to be able to, whatever people's reasons are, whether it's like buying stuff or being able to travel the world, or like everyone has a personal reason for why they want to run a business or start a business. And then there's the professional side of it too, right? There's the problem that they want to solve. that very often is the case, that for the ones that succeed, they have a personal tie to, like they experienced something or their family members experienced something and they wanted to solve the problem and then share that with the world. And I felt trapped in my corporate job because it wasn't fulfilling to me. Like I just felt like I was designing buildings for these greedy developers who didn't care about the people that were going to be living in those buildings. All they cared about was their bottom line. And I didn't feel like I was having any kind of impact in that way, like I was making a positive impact on the world. And so me kind of going through the different side hustles, which in the beginning, ironically, was me being greedy, right? Like the initial side hustles, the businesses that I first started, why they all failed is because all I wanted to do was make fast money. And it forced me to re-examine my core values and find something that aligned with who I am as a person. And coaching was that perfect fit. And then I needed to break through a lot of the early mindset blocks that a lot of people go through when they're taking that first step into business. So I think that's it for this episode. We're 26 minutes in, and I'm getting shorter each week, but yeah, sorry about how emotional things got there in the end, but I hope you guys tune in next week. Next week, you guys will, I'll talk to you about the how the initial part of my offer is going, how the initial announcement of my offer is going. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated. I'm going to be here every single week, as long as I'm able, and as long as like nothing serious comes up, no emergencies or anything like that, like I will be here. So wish you guys a great weekend, and see you next time. This is the Unshakable Founder.